He sat alone on that old wooden bench by the lake, his shoulders heavy with pain. Tears slowly rolled down Michael's face as he stared into the still water. 8 long months had passed since his wife Emily slipped away after her long illness. The house felt too quiet now. The dreams they once shared, they were gone. Some mornings it felt easier to just stop trying, to let the sadness win completely. That's when the swan first appeared. She glided across the lake with such quiet grace, her white feathers glowing softly in the morning light. At first, Michael barely noticed her. What could a bird possibly mean to a broken man like him? But the next day she returned, and the day after that. He tried to wave her away. "Go on," he muttered, his voice rough and tired. "There's nothing good here for you." Yet she didn't fly off. She stayed close, floating peacefully, her dark eyes watching him with a gentle patience that felt almost kind. The struggle inside Michael ran deep. Nights were the hardest. He would wake up reaching for Emily, only to find cold, empty sheets. Friends called and stopped by, but he pushed them all away. "I'm fine," he would say. Even though he was drowning, eating felt pointless. Getting out of bed took every bit of strength he had left. He even thought about selling the house and leaving everything behind. But every morning, something quietly pulled him back to that same bench by the lake. Why did this swan keep coming back? The question stayed with him. She moved through the water so calmly, never in a hurry. There was a simple beauty in the way she just was there, day after day, no matter the weather. Then came that cold, rainy afternoon. Michael hit his lowest point. The grief felt like a storm tearing him apart. He sat with his head in his hands, whispering, "I can't do this anymore." The swan was there, closer than ever, completely unfazed by the pouring rain. In that moment, something inside him shifted. Instead of walking away or giving up, Michael took a slow, deep breath and made a brave choice. He started talking to her, really talking. He spoke about the love he had lost, the plans that would never happen, and the deep fear of facing life all alone. It felt a little silly at first, pouring his heart out to a swan. But as the words came out, something heavy began to lift from his chest. From that day forward, he decided to show up differently. He reached out to the grief support group his friend had mentioned. He started taking slow walks around the lake, noticing the trees and the way light danced on the water. He even planted a small garden in his backyard, the kind Emily had always dreamed of. The swan kept visiting, quiet and steady as ever. Her presence didn't fix everything overnight. There were still hard days filled with tears and doubt. But slowly, very slowly, Michael began to feel a change. He smiled a little more. He reconnected with old friends. And he even started helping at the community center, listening to others who were hurting the same way someone had quietly listened to him. Months later, Michael sat on that same bench again, but this time, his heart felt lighter. The swan glided by gracefully, just as she always had. He still carried some pain, but he was truly living again. The simple, steady presence of that swan had shown him something powerful. Sometimes, you don't need grand words or perfect fixes. Just showing up and being there can begin to heal even the deepest wounds. You know, the greatest healing often comes not from big solutions, but from quiet presence. Like that swan, we can offer someone our calm attention without rushing to fix them. And for ourselves, learning to sit gently with our own pain can pull us through the darkest times. So today, reach out to someone who's struggling. Or simply sit with your own heart with kindness. Your presence has more power than you know.